Hello, Theelbogen here. To my fellow workers in the vineyard, worldwide, greetings. Power is to control the narrative. The present video will enlarge on some of the themes given in the previous video, so look in the low bar for a link to that video. Now, we have explained how feminism seeks ultimate power and control through control of the narrative, or the story, as we call it. Reality, you see, is infinitely complex, or nearly so, and many interpretations are possible. Clearly then, whoever can boost a given interpretation of reality to the top of the stack and get this generally accepted will hold the trump card in the game of intellectual one-upsmanship. There are many names for this: controlling the story, controlling the narrative, controlling the conversation, controlling the frame, controlling the paradigm, controlling the discourse. All these phrases mean pretty much the same thing. They mean that you initialize the parameters, and if you can do that, you've got the first word in the discussion, and whatever follows will bear the stamp of this in one way or another. We are aware that feminism effectively controls the narrative in our present culture. At almost every talk with a feminist, or even the average non-feminist, is overshadowed by this central fact. The Counter-Feminist Project, therefore, works to re-engineer this state of affairs. To that end, we have devised a method called the two-frame system, which serves to clarify our thought, facilitate our work, and give us the upper hand in general. Simply put, this system is a way of organizing the message around not one, but two distinctly separate narrative frames, which, taken together, capture the holistic reality of what confronts us. Following is a short description of the two frames. 1. The first narrative frame is the binary of feminist versus non-feminist. This narrative frame comes first because it sets the foundation. Our base conflict is with feminism, and everything else unfolds from this. One is either feminist or not, and whatever complication the future might hold, that sets the entire business on a footing of bedrock simplicity. We build half the message around this narrative of conflict between feminism and non-feminism, and that is what the general public will hear us talking about roughly half the time. Please note that by non-feminism we mean all forces, factors, and things, human or otherwise, which compose the universe exclusive of feminism. This step, the act of defining feminism, is the elemental and symbolic gesture where we, as non-feminist men and women, specifically take power. That power is not given to us. We take it. Or, more precisely, we take it back. In so doing, we initialize and crystallize our non-feminist identity, and we set the stage for everything which follows. All of this and more is embraced within the binary of feminist versus non-feminist. I should add that we say non-feminist rather than anti-feminist for considered reasons to be explored elsewhere. Two, the second narrative frame, the binary of anti-male versus pro-male. By establishing this frame, we make known that the war against men is real. It is a foundational fact, and all of our work takes this fact into account. The second frame instills the necessary awareness by separating one decisive moral posture from another, anti-male from pro-male. We build half the message around this narrative conflict between anti-male and pro-male, and that is what the general public will hear us talking about roughly half the time. Frame number two reminds us that feminism is nothing if not a war against men. That is how feminism starts, as a war against men. But men are half the human race, and there is no way to contain such a conflict. So the feminist war is bound to escalate, to spread, to inflict collateral damage, and to become a war against the world at large. Thus, we may speak of feminism's war against men one moment, and a moment later speak of feminism's war against the world. There is no confusion about this, for both speeches declare the true state of things. And that concludes our description of the two narrative frames. Our counter-feminist effort is to take back control of the cultural narrative from feminism, and the two-frame system gives us the tools for the job. Each frame provides a way both to understand the problem and to communicate what we have understood. Neither frame alone supplies a full picture, but taken together they yield, so to speak, an image of holographic character. In discourse, both public and private, we are aware from moment to moment that we are using either one frame or the other, and we choose the proper frame for the task at hand. With practice, we learn to toggle quickly between frames. Accordingly, we might start off advocating narrowly for men's rights, but suddenly toggle the frame and speak broadly of a feminist versus non-feminist narrative, only to switch back to men's rights half a minute later. Each frame provides not only a necessary insight into the nature of the problem, but a tactical advantage as the moment requires. For example, frame number one might give you the upper hand in a certain setting, where frame number two might work better somewhere else. By trial and error, we achieve mastery of a fine-tuned effect. Continued application of the two-frame system by a disciplined team transmitting to the general public will instill this counter-feminist meta-narrative into a critical number of minds. It will then become possible to outflank the feminist narrative and force its gradual retreat. Details will be shared out in future videos. Fiedelbogen, out.